Our story begins in this small fishing village called Moga Village. It's a village beloved by many fans that first appeared in the game Monster Hunter Tri. We'll talk more about the lore of Moga on a different video, but to sum this up, Moga Village is located on the coast of the deserted island, an archipelago that's right in the middle of a great ocean. For many years, the villagers of Moga Village had been disturbed by unexplainable earthquakes. The fishermen and the rest of the villagers of Moga suspected that the powerful earthquakes might be caused by the large monster known as Lagiacrus, a fearsome sea wyvern. The Hunters Guild, an organization in the world of Monster Hunter that oversees all legal hunting activities, sent out a team of inexperienced new hunters to address the situation. And that's where we step in. Ta-da! We're the inexperienced hunter who'll be helping this village. Now, after experiencing the earthquake in Moga Village, we met the village chief of Moga. A little note about the village chief: he is the descendant of a family that has watched over the land of Moga for generations. While he was young, he was a skilled hunter both on land and in water. He had an amazing sense of detecting the movements of monsters. However, after one hunt, his eyesight deteriorated. Eventually, he decided to retire from hunting and follow in the footsteps of his ancestors. After a while, the village began to talk about the sea monster of Moga Village and the mysterious tremors. Because of the situation they are in, the village chief asks us for our help in protecting the village. He tells us that we need to be good at swimming and fighting underwater. Is it really that difficult, old man? See? It can't be that hard hunting underwater. We returned to Moga Village to meet the guild sweetheart. As we got back and met with the guild sweetheart, they had now started giving out guild quests since the base camp was finally fixed. We first started out with a few easy quests. As we got back from our gathering quest, the guild sweetheart had more quests for us. She suggested that we either hunt some small monsters or take on another gathering quest, collecting some monster guts. While choosing through the quest selection provided by the guild sweetheart, we came across a quest titled Guts. It's what's for dinner. We were asked to deliver 3 monster guts for the client's fancy dinner. This sounds easy enough to do. We didn't waste much time and accepted the quest. We stepped foot on the deserted island. We went off to grab our hunting supplies inside the item box and began our adventure to look for some monster guts. As advised by the guild sweetheart, we would have to look for the monster guts in the sea. While exploring the waters, we found our first prey. Quickly, we approached a small monster to collect the materials we need. As we got our first monster gut, we continued to explore the waters in search for more. Suddenly, a large Leviathan monster appeared. Because we only had 2 monster guts left to collect, we decided to take the risk and continue with the dangerous quest. We tried to swim carefully across the waters, avoiding the attention of the large monster. My goodness, we suck at hunting underwater. The experience is so different with monsters that are genuinely just out to get you. Because of this, we swam as far as we could, fortunately escaping from Lagiacrus' attention. We came back to Moga Village exhausted after encountering the terrifying Leviathan. Alongside our return, we saw 3 men sitting in front of the village chief, and a large sailboat was parked right beside the village. We first spoke with the guild sweetheart. Despite her worried expression, she was relieved to see that we had returned safely after confronting the fearsome Lagiacrus. Once we finished talking to the guild sweetheart, we spoke with the village chief. Similarly with the guild sweetheart, the village chief was glad that we made it back in one piece. Alongside a bit of joking here and there, he also explained how it had been a good day for us. Despite losing 3 sailboats, at least the members of the hunting fleet were able to make it home safe and sound. After the devastating encounter with Lagiacrus, we decided to work on gathering more hunting experience, preparing ourselves to face the monstrous Leviathan once again. Along this journey, we managed to upgrade our armor and weapons, strengthening ourselves for the challenges ahead. And eventually, we heard some news from the village chief of Moga. The village chief of Moga explains how the Lagiacrus had been sighted once again. We took on the quest titled Trial of the Sea Dragon. We entered Moga Woods, took all the hunting supplies we need, and rushed towards Area 5 of the map to meet the monster. As we entered the area, we saw the monster Lagiacrus resting on land from a distance. The monster was then awakened from its sleep. Without hesitation, we went forth towards the monster, striking its limbs and chest. Despite being on land, the monster gave a challenging fight. The monster shot out electricity, bit, hip check, charged, and more. Eventually, the monster began to feel threatened and retreated to the next area. We followed along, keeping the pressure onto the monster with our powerful attacks. Then, the monster fled towards the seashore. After a few devastating blows, it knocked the Leviathan onto the ground. Then, the monster retreated back to the sea, injured from the encounter. It was a successful hunt. We headed back to the Moga village and spoke with the village chief. The Moga village chief was surprised and cheerfully greeted us upon our return. He was so happy to see that we were able to drive off Lagiacrus. However, the battle was not over yet. Not long after, we would hear another news from the Moga village chief. As expected, Lagiacrus had resurfaced again, and this time, it was heading right towards Moga village. It was time for the final showdown. We took on the urgent quest called Bell the Lagiacrus. After taking the quest, we went off to the Moga woods like always. We packed up our supplies and rushed towards the seas. As we reached the waters, we met the Lord of the Seas once more. Lagiacrus, a Leviathan monster beloved by many hunters. The monster is also known as the Sea Wyvern or Lord of the Sea. In the world of Monster Hunter, the existence of Lagiacrus is shrouded in mystery and legend, passed down through generations by fishermen and traders. Some reports suggest that this monster has been roaming in the seas since ancient times. Even the Hunters Guild were unaware of the monster Lagiacrus until they explored the Island District, Moga region. Lagiacrus was first sighted by an unnamed hunter assigned to Moga village. While the hunter was on a quest to gather monster guts for a local celebration, they stumbled upon a familiar sight, a medium-sized carnivorous monster, possibly a great jaggy, chasing a herbivore in the distance. As the hunter watched closely, they witnessed a terrifying spectacle. The surface of the sea rose, and a long neck snapped at the great jaggy, dragging the unfortunate monster beneath the waves. After the hunter's unexpected encounter, the hunter returned to Moga village and shared his fascinating discovery to the guild. Around that time, unexplained earthquakes were shaking the village, leaving the villagers terrified and confused. There were also reports of hunting boats, important to the region's trade, disappearing one by one. The Hunters Guild took these alarmed reports seriously and tasked their hunters to investigate the situation. After working closely with the village, they were able to uncover the existence of the mysterious wyvern lurking in the ocean. Eventually, the Royal Pantheology Scriveners named the monster Lagiacrus. The monster's appearance resembles a reptilian body, shaped similar to the crocodile we see in the real world. It has a long, muscular body, a strong tail, and webbed feet. Lagiacrus is covered in tough, grayish-blue scales. Along its back, Lagiacrus has a prominent row of spikes, which serve as a storage for electricity it generates during combat. Lagiacrus primarily lives in the sea, but unlike other aquatic monsters, it breathes through its lungs. The monster's lung capacity is so large that it can remain submerged for up to half a day. Based on my research, the way Lagiacrus generates electricity is by repeatedly contracting muscles near its body surface, activating specialized power-generating cells. The electricity is then channeled to the dorsal shell, a prominent spike that's on its back that serves as a storage. Additionally, the electricity that escapes inside the body is charged into a special mucus, which is then expelled outside the body in the form of a breath. The muscles of Lagiacrus are composed primarily of white muscle fibers, which tends to fatigue easily after repeated bursts of energy. When exhausted, Lagiacrus goes on the land to rest. While on land, Lagiacrus has limited energy to generate electricity. Lagiacrus is a carnivore. It preys on aquatic monsters like Epioth. On land, it targets Aptonoth. Well, I haven't seen this in-game, but the way Lagiacrus hunts underwater, it uses its long body to create like a spiral, forming a massive underwater whirlpool. Once the prey is trapped in the vortex, Lagiacrus unleashes a powerful electrical discharge, stunning its victims. Continuing where we left on our quest, the way Lagiacrus attacks our hunter on both underwater and on land were quite interesting. While hunting the monster on land, it performed a variety of body attacks. However, there are some stories from other hunters that Lagiacrus was able to generate electricity from its back despite being on land, oddly different from what I've shared a while ago. After relentlessly hunting Lagiacrus underwater, we eventually defeated it. However, you would soon find out that despite slaying Lagiacrus, the earthquakes continued and were later discovered to be caused by another monster. After Lagiacrus was introduced in the 3rd gen of Monster Hunter, the monster made a reappearance in the 4th generation. However, its reappearance left many Monster Hunter fans disappointed, since hunting the monster on land felt underwhelming. The experience was incomparable to what it was underwater. Soon after, 5th gen Monster Hunter came along, and in the early stages of Monster Hunter World, Lagiacrus was showcased in the prototype model of the game. This excited many fans of the monster. Unfortunately, because of the technical limitations, they had to scratch the idea of adding Lagiacrus onto the game. Time and time again, Monster Hunter fans have been wanting to see Lagiacrus make a return. During the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter, Hunter's choice for top monster, Lagiacrus, was highly voted. Some suggest that the reason why Lagiacrus hasn't returned because the Monster Hunter game has to have an underwater combat mechanic, which has been a reoccurring discussion in the community. Before I wrote this story, I didn't know much about Lagiacrus. I only had the experience of hunting this monster back in Monster Hunter Generations, and it didn't really leave a lasting impression on me. I've always wondered why so many Monster Hunter fans love this monster so much. I often hear it how memorable this monster was for them, and I wanted to understand why. It was fun making this video, and I hope I was able to convey how cool this monster is. I would love to see this monster make a return in future Monster Hunter. But yeah, that's all I have for now. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.